All right, here is a video review for a couple of dudes I've been looking forward to having since we saw them show up, and now that we've learned that they do, in fact, and learning how they work, because we saw some early preview listings way back when, and I was never quite sure exactly what was going to happen, and it turned out great. So here is Road Trap and Battle Slash, aka the two halves of BATTLETRAP, who originally did not have individual robot modes, and now does. Here is Road Trap, the truck, and Battle Slash, the helicopter, with a cool whirly bird. I love helicopters. Gig here. It helps if you turn his head around. You don't have to. Instructions don't show it, but for truck mode, so you don't see it. He does have kind of a dumpy back end, but it's kind of a breakdown-esque truck. And then Battle Slash, who again has an opening here in the front of his helicopter mode, which will be made apparent shortly. Now, he does come with, he doesn't come with, but he has, both of these have seats for Titan Masters, Prime Masters, whatever, and they both use these little, these actual peg holes and not the actual tab here. And so for BATTLETRAP, it just kind of sits up there on top, and it kind of stays in place depending on how well he's tabbed together. But you can sit right there, and it seems a little precarious. You can pull this up a little bit to stick back out, but it's not really the same. So he plugs in right there on here, and he's got two pegs back here on Battle Slash. When you peg them out, so when you peg them on, you got to lift them up a little bit at the lower knee joint. And there is, in fact, just enough clearance. I mean, we're talking just enough to keep the propeller spinning while he is in helicopter mode. Little crazy, but it does work. Because it's barely missing his chest. Anyway. These come with the cards. There's their card art for Road Trap and Battle Slash. I got Megatronus Road Trap, who toys with enemies to make them suffer. And Micronus, who was actually just on him, Battle Slash, who power links with allies to share his strength. Actually, I got Tailgate too, and like all three of them came with cards for primes that I didn't already have, so that's cool. Also, on the side of the box art, like the little character picture would be on the front. I just cut this out. There is actually some character art of his BATTLETRAP mode, and you'll see it in the instructions as well. Now, I considered doing these guys as two separate video reviews, but then where would I stick in the BATTLETRAP combined mode? And so I just, and like, again, January is notorious for not being a good YouTube revenue month, which is what keeps this channel going. It would be nice to do 3 videos and to get all the views from that, but that would be a little disingenuous, and I want to keep them together because I like, again, while they're separate figures, they do combine into one dude, and I figured it'd be cooler just to have it all in one. So, hooray. Anyway, here's the manuals, and I'm not going to show you all the steps because we're going to do that in a second, but there is the highlighted, but the Battle Slash or BATTLETRAP art within the instruction manuals. And if you want to see the upper half in more relief, there it is from the other guy. So anyway, on to the toys themselves, who are actually pretty fun. So you've got Road Trap, who rolls along as a truck, and Battle Slash, who flies along as a helicopter. An old Duocon. I hope they do a flywheels like this. I really hope they do a flywheels like this, even though they gave us Skytread in the last line. But so anyway, transform them. They're not they're surprisingly complex posability wise for all the things they do. So to transform Road Trap, we're going to untab these little. They don't really tab. They just kind of rest inside the fists here. But lift these wheels up, and then actually, the first thing you can do is pull this up and then flip this whole piece up, and there's his head. And you can already kind of see how he's going to form the lower half of BATTLETRAP. We'll come back here. Take the arm pieces here, and once you've got these, lift them up and out of the way, past those tabs, bring them all the way around to the front. Now, there's a tab that's supposed to fit in a slot here, and you really have to kind of work to get it to lock in, and I haven't pushed too hard on this side to do it. But there we go, I just did it. So open these up, and then these pieces lift up, and you can also go ahead and start splitting them in half here. These come up here, and then tab together. There's his upper torso, and for the feet, you just lift this up, pull this up. And the reason this tab comes down is because the tab locks it and holds it down in a rolling position for vehicle mode. But once that's gone, in robot mode, this can slide all the way up and pull that wheel up into the wheel well so he sits flat on his actual foot. That's a really neat little design for a toy this small. So lift this up. And there is Road Trap in his robot mode. He's got a swivel head, ball joint shoulders, ball joint elbows, no waist swivel, but he's got ball joint hips, a ball joint there at the knee, so he's got a pretty decent range of articulation there, and of course the hinge there on the foot. So what would you expect from a Legends Transformer? On to Battle Slash, and he's a little bit more complex going to robot mode. One of the things you'll notice when he comes into robot mode, and when you go to helicopter mode, sometimes this will be tilted and click on this, and that's if that happens, just kind of grab it by the center and pull it up a little bit, because if they pivot on his little ball joints for his elbows here, and sometimes that can get pushed down in here where it's interfering, and you just have to grab it and pull it back up. Anyway, so to transform, I'm put this to the side and open this panel up, untab this little. There's a single tab back here on the leg piece, so pull that out. You see one side's longer than the other. It tabs into this slot. And split the arms apart like this. Close that back up. Well, actually, we don't want to close that up yet. But pull this assembly all the way down and around. And that will allow the rear end to split in half and fold down and around. You got to lift that mostly back into place and pull this whole front assembly. Flip it around like that. And then pull the rear half of the helicopter down and under. And peg it together. That's going to form his lower half. Fold up the propellers on the back of the helicopter and then rotate it around at the knee joint to face forward. The arms, go ahead and pull the forearm down and tab it from this piece. And then the assembly it's on flips up and around over this black part. This is where you want to have this up, because this tabs into here. So you want to have that back so it can allow these to fold all the way in. But yeah, so bring it up to the side. Bring the arm up and all the way around over this, and then back. And once these are all the way against the body, you can see this piece will tab into the back and lock those in place. And then you can bring the arm down, and then open up this front half, and flip his head up. And there is Battle Slash. He's got his little spinny propeller on one hand, as a weapon, if you want. Got a little swivel head. Ball joint shoulders, although, again, the shoulder joint comes from the back. Because of the transformation. He has ball joints at the elbow, and he does have the hinge there, but that's more for turning into a helicopter than any real robot posability. But if you can get some decent poses out of him that way. Ball joint hips, ball joint knee, and the feet are solid. So there's the two of them together. And they are basically standard Legends class figures. For example, here they are with Deluxe class Dreadwind. Just to give you an idea of how big they are. They're a little shorter than Tailgate, but generally Legends class. Legends size, height. And they're a fun little duo. Like I said, BattleTrap did not have two individual robot modes before. And so these are kind of imaginations on what would happen if they did. And they're pretty cool little dudes. I like them. Like they look nice together. But the fun part here is combine mode. And that is, for him, it's very simple. We're basically going to take this, just like we did before, pull them down, split it, like they were in truck mode with this flipped up. The arms are going to rotate around, and this is also works for going back to truck mode. There's a tab here that goes into here, and a tab here that goes into the arm. The arm just repegs in behind there to form the leg, and it still keeps a decent amount of his ankle articulation. It does get a little hung up on this fist here, but you can, if you want, pull this out to the side to get more ankle articulation if that's something you want to do. And the same thing on this side. Just flip the arm around to the back, tab it in, and there he is as Pants. Pants mode, pants mode. For Battle Slash, it's a little bit more complex. We're going to go like part of the way back to helicopter mode. We're going to flip this out, pull his arms out, around, bring these pieces back up as if we were going to helicopter, but instead fold them up, and there's a tab here on the side that's going to tab into the side of the torso. Like that. His feet are already facing forward, or his hands are already facing forward. Go ahead and flip his head up into place. Oh, make sure to fold in his other robot mode head. Then fold this up into place. Oh, there we go, like that. Close the chest up, and then rotate this piece there. That's going to be the connector port for the top half, and you can kind of see how this is going to go together. Now, officially, the instructions have the back piece here as if you take this up, you want to fold it kind of back into helicopter mode. Like this. Fold this up so it tabs in to the arm here. Oh yeah, it does come back like this. Flip it over and around. Nope, I was right the first time. Down like this, but you're gonna, like this, and then rotate it around like this. I have an alternate transformation for this, and that's how I've been doing it all day, so I'm a little confused here now. But this should come back around to the side of, these are going to peg together again on the back. Lower than this. I'm missing something here. One sec. All right, yeah, I was overcomplicating it. Basically, you just take them straight like this, and you just rotate this around so they line up and they peg together back here so that the these lock together on the back, gives him a little bit of a backpack, and then the propeller kind of sits there along his spine, which in and of itself, so it looks kind of like that, which is kind of a neat way of dealing with the propeller on an asymmetrical figure, to have it fold in and sit along the back like this. It does limit some waist articulation, but it's kind of a neat idea. There's a better way to do it, but that's the official transformation there. Like I said, as a concept, I like it. I don't like the way it hangs down here, and like I said, it does, because of the way it sits, kind of limit how far you can turn around. Like this, he still has a decent range, but it does bump up against the legs. And again, if you get the legs, start getting the legs into dynamic posing, it's a little annoying. But there he is. There he is in robot mode, and he looks very much like Nick Roche designed him. He's a very Nick Roche-looking bot, if I can describe him as such. He can hold, since we had my Cronus out earlier, he can use Prime Masters, just like all the other characters could. A quick size comparison, since we did it with Dreadwind. Here he is with Dreadwind, and here's a quick one with Starscream as well. Voyager Starscream, just to give you an idea of how he scales with others. Not quite as big as a Deluxe, but still bigger than a Legends. He's got a swivel head here, ball joint shoulders, ball joint elbows. He does have waist swivel, ball joint hips. He does have a hinge here for a knee. It can get in the way as this all kind of crunches up, but he does have a hinge here for a knee. And then he's got the ball joint here right behind the screen, and then as well as the front to back hinge in the leg. So he's pretty posable for a combiner. Like I said, for small toys, they do the 3-mode transformation very well. It'd be nice if he didn't have these little posts sticking up in the middle of his fists, but or on the sides of his fists. That's going to limit some of the weapons he can hold, but oh well. But yeah, overall, a very fun little toy. A nice homage to the old BattleTrap, which I don't have to compare, unfortunately. I think I still have flywheels somewhere, so if they do a flywheels, we'll see that. But the alternate transformation for the back, like I said, I know some people didn't like this, and I've seen he does have a little bit of a backpack, but it really isn't that bad when you do it like this. I've seen someone talk about an alternate transformation that gives him a bigger backpack, and I'm not familiar with that one. The one I found that actually locks into place pretty well is if you open these back up and rotate this around and up like this, you can then straighten this arm out, bring both of these black pieces all the way out to the side, rotate this in, which can then tab right back into the forearm, and they kind of sit in like a V shape like that, but it locks together, it's secure, it gives him this back blade, which can also be rotated out of the way to give him much more waist articulation. It kind of puts it in a closer position, if you want to sit it straight across like that, to a closer position to where the original toy had it. And again, because it's just the arms pegged together again in this V shape, it doesn't stick out any further than the original backpack did. So you're not giving him any extra bulk here on his back to get this, which I think is pretty cool. Also, you can use this little hinge as a kind of an ab crunch here, although it does split his robot body a little bit. So that's my preferred transformation, is to have these locked together in this V shape, because well, it does limit the backward arm movement a little bit. They can only go back about that far. It still leaves him plenty of posability here in the arms themselves to get expressive and dynamic. While again, freeing up the waist, keeping it from having that hang down. You can still have it vertically if you want, but it also moves it to a slightly higher position, which I think is nice. And so that's how I do it. But yeah, there he is. Transformers, Power of the Primes, Legends Class, Battle Slash, and Road Trap, who combine to form BATTLETRAP. Really nice update to the old figure, and definitely worth picking up when he hits the shelves.